Shrewsbury Town were founded in 1886, but they played at a few home grounds before finally moving to Gay Meadow. The first ground that they played at was a ground called the Racecourse Ground at Monkmoor. Then they played at Ambler's Field, Copthorne, Sutton Lane, Sutton Farm, and Barracks Ground in Copthorne. From what I have read, centuries before Shrewsbury Town occupied the site, Gay Meadow was known locally for the fairs, carnivals and circuses which took place there. In 1739, stuntman Robert Cadman, a steeple flyer, attempted to fly across the River Severn using a rope attached to the St Mary's Church at one side and a tree at Gay Meadow some 200 feet below. Tragically for Cadman, the rope broke and he plunged to his death. The first official match at Gay Meadow took place on the 20th of August 1910, when a crowd of up to 1,000 people watched a pre-season practice match between Reds against the Whites. The first league game at Gay Meadow was a match between Shrewsbury Town and Wolverhampton Wanderers reserves on the 10th of September 1910. Shrewsbury lost the match 2-1, with Shinton scoring the first league goal for Wolverhampton and Billy Scarrett scoring Shrewsbury Town's first goal at the ground. Shrewsbury's first win at the ground occurred 2 weeks later against Hales Owen. The ground did not see many improvements until the 1950s, when trees which lined the road to Gay Meadow, also known as the Narrows, were felled to improve access. It was around this time that the club's supporters launched its floodlight committee in order to raise £12,000 for the installation of floodlights. On the 25th of November 1960, a crowd of 5,448 saw Shrewsbury Town beat Stoke City 5-0 in a match to mark the installation of the lights. In 1965, the ground saw new offices built, with the Riverside Terrace being built in the early 1970s. In the early 1980s, the club's promotion to the Ald Second Division required further improvements. The Ald 600-seater station stand was demolished and a new 4,500 capacity centre stand was built. Until the ground's demolition in 2007, this was the last major building work to take place at the ground. Minor changes in the 1990s included a new stand executive suite, a TV gantry in the main stand, and the controversial demolition of the ground's wooden scoreboard, and following the Taylor report, the removal of a perimeter fencing with the exemption of the away station end. On the banks of the River Severn, the ground was surrounded by trees and parkland, with the town centre towering above the ground on the hilltop behind. A number of the town's landmarks, including Shrewsbury Castle and Shrewsbury Abbey, were visible from the ground. Due to the ground being rather small and cramped between the river and a major railway junction, there was little scope for expansion or renovation. Access via a small side street known as the Narrows was poor, and one of the main reasons to the ground's capacity was reduced following the Taylor report. Problems with evacuations and access for emergency services was one of the reasons cited by the club to move to a new stadium. By the 1990s, the ground's capacity had been reduced to 8,000, following stricter ground safety regulations that followed the Bradford City Stadium fire of 1985 and the Taylor report which followed the Hillsborough disaster of 1989. In addition, the ground's proximity to the river meant the ground often flooded in the autumn and winter months, leading to matches being postponed. Flooding also caused damage to the offices and changing rooms. The club had reconsidered relocation since 1986, but it wasn't until 1999 when the recently elected chairman of the club released plans for a new stadium, provisionally titled the New Meadow, a 10,000 all-seater stadium on the southern outskirts of the town between the Meold Brace and Sutton Farm districts. Amongst other things, opposition from residents delayed the planning and building process until 2006, with the ground not being completed until July 2007. To fund the move away from Gay Meadow, the site was sold to property developers. Gay Meadow's final FA Cup tie was a goalless draw against Hereford United on the 11th of November 2006. The last team to win a professional match at the ground was Shrewsbury Town's rivals Wrexham, who won 1-0 at the second to last league game at the ground on the 24th of April 2007. The final league game to be played at Gay Meadow was against Grimsby Town on the 5th of May 2007, a 2-2 draw with Grimsby equalising in the final minute. The final senior competitive match held at Gay Meadow was against Milton Keynes on the 14th of May 2007, the first leg of the League 2 playoffs, the game finishing a 0-0 draw. In September 2007, demolition of the stadium began, and by October 2007 the ground was reduced to rubble. The site was earmarked for the residential building of 150 flats scheduled to be built at the ground site. In 2009, building started on a number of luxury flats, and it was completed in 2014. With the ground almost completely demolished, a charity zip wire event was held on the 14th of October 2007. Over 100 townspeople flew from the St Mary's area of the town centre over the River Severn to the land on the Gay Meadow pitch, emulating Robert Cadman's heroic attempt in 1740. In addition, sections of the Gay Meadow turf were sold for a small fee for Severn Hospice, the organising charity. This was the final public event to ever take place at Gay Meadow before the redevelopment of the site. The record attendance at Gay Meadow come on the 26th of April 1961, when 18,917 people turned up for a Football League 3rd Division fixture against Walsall. Looking at some of the goal scoring records at the ground, I couldn't find too many. There wasn't much information. There were a couple of results that Shrewsbury Town have recorded in their history, like biggest league win and that, but it doesn't say whether we're at Gay Meadow or not. I know in my last video I made a slight error where I said Chesterfield's biggest home loss happened in 1987, but it was actually at Gillingham that it happened, so I got that one wrong, and there was a couple of people that pointed that out. So that concludes my video on Gay Meadow, the former home ground of Shrewsbury Town from 1910 to 2007. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below, and let me know if you've been to this ground and your memories of it. I also hope that you enjoyed me horrendous narration of this video. I were looking through the comments the other day, and on my Roker Park video, someone by the name of FTM Jarrah said that my narration of Roker Park were horrendous. So a special shout out to FTM Jarrah for those comments. They say that nobody cares about history, nobody cares about the old days or the old grounds or the players, and the modern viewer only really cares about the Premier League and what's happening in the present day. But you as an audience that's followed me for over the last few months, you've proven that people do care about history, people do care about the old grounds, and it's much appreciated that you watch these videos. So once again, this has been History of Football, and I'll catch us all later in the next video. Alright, tatty bye for now.